Here at the Damage Report, like many people, yesterday morning we were absolutely shocked at the footage of a massive explosion going off in a port in Beirut. Wondering what it means, what effect it's had, how many must have been injured or died in this absolutely devastating explosion. And thankfully, some information is now starting to be made available. And joining us now to help understand the situation is investigative journalist and the founder of Beirut Report, Habib Battah. Welcome to the Damage Report.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Glad to have you here. So, I apologize. We were talking before going live with the interview. I'm sure you've had to answer many of these questions before, so I apologize for that. But I am curious. When it happened, were you nearby? What was that experience like?
Well, I had just driven past the explosion site 10 minutes earlier, which is the port of Beirut. And you can't avoid the port of Beirut. If you're in Beirut, it's right along the highway. So I've driven past it my whole life, almost every day at some point. And that was, I was very lucky and thankful that I got out of there. I was in traffic. About 10 minutes later, I pulled over to get some stuff from a pharmacy. I was probably a couple miles away down the highway, and I went into the pharmacy, and I heard just a little thud while I was talking to the pharmacist. And I thought it's an Israeli sonic boom because I've lived through those my whole life. And I thought they must be bombing the South and having another war as they do. And so I looked up at the sky, and all of us, our instinct as Lebanese to look up at the sky when we hear an explosion, because we're used to getting the airstrikes. And I didn't see anything. And I turned back around to the pharmacist, and we were just kind of chit-chatting, joking about the situation, how bad it is. And then it just moved through my body. I mean, and the loudest noise you've ever heard in your life. It felt like the building was collapsing that was behind me.
Wow.
And everybody felt that way. It's like, if you look at the damages, it looks like every building got bombed. And there are like hundreds of buildings that were affected. And so this is like 1,000 times more than the Oklahoma City bombing. Mm-hmm. It's almost like the closest thing you can get to an atomic bomb. It was a proper mushroom cloud. Yeah. It's like a movie, like your worst fantasy of what it would be like. In Lebanon, we always think about what it would be like because you're always getting bombed, and it was every bit that. And I could just feel it in my bones, and it kind of just stays with you. Even if you're not injured, it just the vibration. And I just jumped in my car, and I raced home, and people were driving crazy, and people were outside of their homes, and everybody was outside looking, and police were looking, and it's when the police don't know what's going on, that feels really weird. And as I got a little bit higher, I live a little bit in the hill, just right outside of Beirut. I could see the whole city was in a cloud as big as the city of black smoke. Was totally like you couldn't see the city anymore. So it was. I was very lucky. I was very lucky because a lot of people were badly injured. 5,000 people, 200,000. The government says are homeless tonight.
My God, an entire city.
Well, the city's probably about 1.5 million.
No, I mean, but like it's a city full of people effectively that have been made homeless inside of this larger city. And it's just devastating on top of the deaths and the injuries, the long-term impact. I can't even imagine this scale. You felt the shockwave miles away. I'm curious when
people heard it in Cyprus, which is like 150 miles away.
Wow. And when you said you were initially you were talking to people are trying to figure out what happened. They're trying to read from the authorities. Do they have any information? I mean, because there was the fire beforehand, many people were filming it, and so everyone has now seen any number of different shots of it. It really did look like a small instantaneous nuclear weapon had exploded very briefly. Was there a widespread belief that this was some sort of attack? Did it take long for the information about what the nature of the bomb actually was to distribute?
Yeah, I mean, living here, you get a flashback every time there's a bombing. You remember the last big bombing that you went through. And I started thinking about the assassination of the prime minister back in 2005. and how that shook the building that I was in. But this felt like twice as strong. I mean, I felt the vibration of American-made bunker buster bombs that Israel has dropped so many times on this city during the 2006 war, and this was nothing compared to those. I mean, this was just like at times 10. So yeah, it was, you know, and so you think immediately we're under attack. That's what I thought. You know, we're under attack, and I gotta run. I gotta take cover. But then you think, do I drive slow? Do I drive fast? Will I get hit? Will I not get hit? You know, we've lived our lives like this, but this felt like, wow, this is a really escalation. I mean, for people from Beirut to say that this was the biggest bomb that they have seen, that's saying a lot, because we've seen almost every kind of bomb in this city over the past 30 years. So yeah, we did feel like we're under attack, and everybody thought it was a plane, an airstrike, or an assassination. You know, two of the main kind of avenues of violence that we've seen, munitions delivered to us. So yeah, it was really a feeling of anxiety and fear.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.